Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Back at you the new video. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Tampa Bay Rays versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 10 minutes. Let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineup. Happy Wednesday, everyone. And we got some great news in the lineup for the Seattle Mariners. Welcome back, J.P. Crawford. You had a broken pinky. You were gone for seems about a month and a half, 2 months, but we finally get you back in your leadoff spot, and I'm very excited to see what we're going to get out of our guy, J.P. Crawford. Let's go, baby. We're going to need you on defense, and we're definitely going to need you on offense as well. And obviously on the thumb, on the left, I have the former Seattle Mariner, Jose Caballero. And on the right, I had to do it. We had to put J.P. Crawford back on the thumb for coming back in his very first game. Let's go, J.P. Hell yeah. And hopefully J.P. will be able to bring a little bit of electricity to our lineup. All right, let's get into the starting lineup here first for the visiting Tampa Bay Rays. And I've missed putting JP on the thumb. It's been a long time, and it feels good. Leading off for the Rays at first base, Yandy Diaz. Batting second, playing second base, Brandon Lowe. Batting third, playing third base, Junior Caminero. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing today for the Rays, Christopher Morel. Batting fifth, playing right field, Josh Lowe. Batting sixth, playing left field, Dylan Carlson. Batting seventh, playing shortstop this afternoon, Jose Caballero. Batting eighth, catching this afternoon for the Rays, Ben Rortvedt. And batting ninth, playing center field, Jose Siri. And on the mound for the Rays with a 0-0 record, limited innings, ERA of 2.70, it is Drew Rasmussen. Now let's get into the starting lineup here for your Seattle Mariners. Super excited that JP is back. Let's go, baby. Crawdaddy is back in the building. Leading off for the Mariners for the first time in months, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Tridents up, baby. Let's get it. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, DHing this afternoon for the Mariners, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. You are due for a home run, big dumper. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing second base for Seattle, Jorge Polanco. Batting sixth, playing first base for Seattle, Luke Raley. Batting seventh, playing third base for Seattle, it's Demo Dylan Moore. Batting eighth, catching this afternoon for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. And batting ninth, playing right field, Victor Robles. And I was very interested to see, if JP would end up getting that leadoff spot or if they would give it to Victor Robles. And I was thinking, you could have Victor Robles lead off and have JP in the 2-hole. But I think I kind of like this batting order with JP at the top and Victor at the bottom. So that way, if we end up starting an inning at 9-1-2, we'll have Victor Robles, JP Crawford, and then Julio Rodriguez. So we'll see on how it ends up working out, but I'm glad that we got JP as well as Victor Robles both in this particular lineup. Let's go Mariners. And we're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. And like I mentioned multiple times on the stream, make sure you guys take care of your mental health. Addiction, depression, anxiety. These are things that not only I've gone through, but you guys might be going through it right now or have in the past. So if you make some minor adjustments to your daily routine and you hold yourself accountable, exercise if you're not exercising, cut back on the fast food and eat a little bit healthier, spend time listening to 30 minutes of music every single day, spending time with friends, family, and pets, and a safe place like the NWSF, you'll definitely be able to get back on track and you'll be able to win the day. Let's go, baby. Let's go, Mariners. I'm ready. Matt in the building. What's good? Let's get to 100 in donos. Let's do it. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you do have a Twitter/X account, do your boy a solid and like and retweet the live stream post. It'll get us more people here, but more importantly, smash that like button a little bit early and often. And if we can get 20 within the first hour, it hits the algorithm very nicely. And then once we hit 30 and beyond, it's pretty much downhill slope from there, and we're going to be able to gain some good momentum. So let's try to end up getting that number as soon as possible. Sarah in the building, what's good? So I ended up getting a hold of Chief Will Chief this morning, and the league is complete. So it's the first time, I think, in like 8 years where we literally have all regulars on the channel, which I'm super excited about. It's not that I don't mind having a random person that maybe barely watches the channel join us in fantasy, but if you're looking at the league, every single member this season is a regular member that shows up typically daily or pretty often. So I'm definitely excited about that. And we're going to be doing our NWSF 8th annual fantasy football draft on the channel tomorrow at 6 p.m. since the Mariners have a day off. I figured that would be a great time to get it done. And so we have me, we got Captain Oreo, big Mariner fan, first time playing in our league. We got Shep, we got Matt, we got Elliot, we got Reflect, we got Zini Panini, we got Sarah, we got Megan, and we got Chief Will Chief. So I'm very excited. And again, I reached out to my boy Joey as well last night, and I reached out to Lauren, but I felt like some of these guys, they're not really, fantasy football players. So I actually reached out to Chief Will Chief yesterday, sent him like 5 messages on Instagram because that's the only thing that we follow each other on. Didn't get a response. Saw he was active early this morning, sent the message. He got it finally, and we're good. So, and I really wanted Chief Will Chief to be a part of the league because he's typically a part of our league almost every year. So all regulars on the channel, and I'm very excited about that. Yeah, and it's the first time that we got 3 ladies in it as well. We normally have 2, but I figured since we already had you and Megan in it, Zini normally does our league every other year, kind of depending on if she was offered to be in another league. But I think that she's too good for a lot of the other leagues with the guys that she was participating with. And I think they got scared of her because we already know Zini is good enough to win a championship. She has before. And I think a lot of the guys got jealous of her. And I asked her, hey, are you doing a league this year? No one invited her. I said, I'm going to invite you. And again, I like being able to show that love and participation, not only with the dudes, but showing that, hey, females that watch sports, specifically football, they can play fantasy too, and they may surprise you. So very excited about that. And we're going to be doing the draft tomorrow at 6 p.m. And I'm really excited about JP Crawford. It's been a couple months since we've been able to see him. It's about a month and a half, 2 months since he ended up breaking his pinky, and he's been out for quite some time with the rehab, had a couple stints with AAA Tacoma Rainiers and a couple just kind of warm-up practices, and then now he is finally ready, and obviously that's why we got him on the thumb. Let's go, baby. And obviously a heartbreaking loss for us yesterday. I felt that we could have easily won that matchup. We won game one in dominant fashion, 5-1, lost a heartbreaker, 3-2, back-to-back 10K games. And normally you're not going to see that. Obviously, we got 10Ks out of game one with Bryce Miller, 10Ks out of Logan Gilbert. And the last time that we did back-to-back 10Ks was actually last year, seeing two pitchers, Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert. So hopefully we can end up getting the dub today because we need to take advantage of every Astro loss. We didn't do it yesterday, and hopefully we can bring the energy and the heat here today. Yeah, I haven't done any mocks, but I definitely have looked at positioning, and we're not going to know our position until 5 p.m. Pacific, an hour before. So that's why I feel I don't really do too many mocks, because you don't know where you're going to be at. You know, because drafting from 1 and drafting from 5 is going to be completely different. So the order of who you're going to pick and what's going to be available is going to be a little tricky because you don't really know what's going to happen until we actually get, into the actual draft. And you're always going to have a couple people reach, for players that they shouldn't. You're always going to have people drafting wrong, and then it's going to kind of, screw up the order a little bit of, what you think that you want to do that's the best for the team. And that's what makes it exciting, because you never really know who's going to pull the trigger early or maybe too early, or who's going to end up having an amazing draft, or if someone is just going to go for their favorite players. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely excited to try to compete, obviously, for the playoffs. 4 teams are going to make it out of 10, and we're just going to do best of 1 week. So obviously the season ends in week 14. Week 15, the 2 teams will play. Whoever wins, obviously, will move on to the championship round in the 2 games with the 4 teams. And then, obviously, in week 16, that'll be the champion. And obviously, we know that the season is going to go into week 17, week 18, and whatnot. But usually, that's when they, will sit players if they already got a first-round bye. So, like if you had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and we have the same format as last year, 2 weeks and 2 weeks, in the championship game, you might not have half of your roster because they may be sitting because of a bye. So we want to prevent that from happening. Instead of having depth and luck, we want to make sure it's based on skill. So we're just going to do 1 week and 1 week. All right, baby, here we go. Top of the first, 0-0. Yandy Diaz leading off for La Piedra, Luis Castillo. And Luis is very up and down. I would say he's our 5th best pitcher out of the 5 in the rotation, but hopefully he can end up bringing some heat today. Let's go, baby. 2-0 count to Yandy Diaz. Pitch is on the corner. 3 balls and no strikes. Not a good start here for Luis Castillo. .30 pitch. Right down the middle for a strike. 3-1 count. And I ended up seeing a replay of every swing that Julio had in yesterday's game. And I noticed one thing, he has no awareness of the strike zone. He's off balance in every single swing. And again, instead of trying to be a team player, it seems like he's trying to play hero ball. Nice job there by Demo at third. 1 away. And again, getting singles is okay. You don't have to try to swing for a home run all the time. But I finally figured it out why Julio Rodriguez is struggling this year. Everyone says, they jam him inside. He's off balance. He has no awareness of the strike zone. He gets baited on bad pitches outside and inside. Yes, all of that is true. But one thing that we haven't discussed on the channel, he broke up with his girlfriend, the soccer Canadian Jordan. So, of course, obviously, they haven't been posting about each other. He deleted everything off his social media. So not only does he have heartbreak, he's got heartache. And as you know, like Tom Brady and Giselle, sometimes when you end up having a breakup with a girlfriend or a wife, whatever the situation may be, you can act like everything's okay, but clearly it's not. And I feel that part of Julio's struggles this year is, in fact, him breaking up with, Jordan, the soccer player. So I feel that, it's not like he needs a new girlfriend to get better, but I think that's part of the formula of why we've seen Julio struggle so much this season compared to the previous 2 years. Your boy's doing some research and I'm digging. Top of the first, 0-0, Rays and Mariners, 2 away. Next up is Junior Caminero. Yandy Diaz, see you later. Brandon Lowe, see you later. Next up, third baseman, Junior Caminero. season versus the Mariners so far. Only batting 143, no homers and no ribbies, and hopefully we can keep it that way. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people. I don't go pry into people's relationships and sports and wrestling unless something comes up on my timeline. Nothing has been mentioned really by her or him, and obviously she ended up going to the Olympics. But it sounds like even though a lot of people hook up at the Olympics, it sounds like it might have been over even before then. Oh wow, line drive. Randy Arozarena misses a diving catch. And that is a stand-up double. Oh, he's going for 3. Wow, sliding in for a triple by Junior Caminero. Come on, Randy, focus. Big triple by Junior Caminero. And this makes me a little nervous because, again, Luis is our worst pitcher on our staff that's a starter. And this is not what we need. And Randy, you've been making some good defensive plays, but then there's also been times where it feels like you're falling asleep out there in left field. You need to wake up. And again, I'm not going to say that was all your fault right there, but again, we want to make sure that he's got his head on a swivel. Next up for the Rays is the former Cub, Christopher Morel. Big swing and a miss behind in the count, 0-2. Yeah, and I went to Julio's Instagram just to verify, and all the pictures of him and Jordan together, which were a bunch, are all deleted. So everything is deleted off both of their social medias, and sounds like it's been over for quite some time, even if they were still quote-unquote together. So I'm pretty sure that heartache and heartbreak, not only with that, but struggling in the box, seeing the baseball, overcompensating, off balance on all his swings, trying to play hero ball, not being aware of the strike zone. All of these are factors of why Julio is struggling in the box, I believe, this year. And hopefully things will get better. Maybe he'll get a new girlfriend next year, or he'll just stay single and not have a girlfriend and not have to worry about the potential cheating or heartache or heartbreak. Definitely feel for the guy, and hopefully things will get better for us and the Seattle Mariners. John in the building, what's good? Two-two pitch to Morel. Pitches outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count goes full. Come on, baby. We can't give up anything big early. If we can prevent this triple by Junior Caminero and we can leave it stranded, that would be huge for Castillo and the Mariners' confidence, especially with J.P. Crawford's first game back. Pitch in there in the zone, fouled off behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. 3 balls and 2 strikes. But I'm always going to deep dive, especially when I feel that there's something off, if I can find more information. So, but it all kind of makes sense now. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Christopher Morel. And we get out of the inning. Nice job, Luis Castillo. Fucking A. There we go. And obviously it wasn't his fault. Randy Arozarena kind of dove and missed. So nice job by Luis Castillo. Let's go, baby. La Piedra, I see you. Next up, first game back in a couple months. Shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Let's go, J.P. Batting second, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, big dumper, catcher Cal Raleigh, taking the DH role here this afternoon. Let's go, Mariners. And if you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We want to try to hit 20 likes within the first hour. It hits the algorithm, and then it gives us more recommendations. But we still got a ways to go. Again, we only have a couple of y'all that have done it yet, and I know you're listening to me, watching the broadcast. If you could do your boy a solid and smash that like button now and get it over with, it'd be great. We need 4 more to get to 10, and it looks like we have about half of the people in the room that have done it so far. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And with your guys' effort of getting the likes early, we've been able to hit 30 to 50 likes on almost every single stream for the last couple months. And lately, we've been getting that 50 range. And when you can get 50 to 60 likes, it definitely helps. We've had back-to-back streams of over 1,000. And again, my goal on every stream, if possible, if we can get to a point where we can hit 1,000 views on every live stream for the Mariners or above and beyond that. That's kind of the goal. And I know sometimes the matchups are going to be early, and we might end up hitting like 500 to 800 on those early morning, early afternoon broadcasts. But we have actually proven that we can hit 1,000 to 2,000 views even as early as 10 a.m. So it kind of just depends on the audience and the matchup. All right, baby, here we go. Leading off for the Mariners for the first time in a couple months, J.P. Crawford. It would be great if we could end up getting a leadoff single out of J.P., but since he's been gone since July 22nd with that broken pinky on his right hand, he might end up going 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 for the first couple games, but hopefully not, and we can get at least one hit, and he can go 1 for 4 or 1 for 5 today. Now, if you really want the Mariner fans to get really excited and hyphy, he'll go for a home run or something big today, but I wouldn't expect that in his first game back, but you never know. You know, never know about the Crawdaddy. He might. Anna in the building. What's good? JP right up the middle. Slow roll dribbler. Throw to first. One away. It's okay, JP. You'll have at least 3 or 4 more at-bats to get it going. Next up, center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. I want you to have balance in your swing. I want you to recognize the strike zone. Don't chase on those inside pitches. They try to jam you, and that garbage that's outside, right? I know you broke up with the girlfriend and you're heartbroken, but you got to move on. Tom Brady was able to move on, and I know you can do it as well. Come on, Julio. Pitches low and at the knees for a ball, which he normally would have swung at. Good eye, Julio. 1 ball and no strikes. 251 average, 11 homers and 40 ribbies for Julio this season, which is a very down year. And maybe Julio will get a new girlfriend or just stay single for a while, and he'll get back to his normal self. Pitches outside, 2 balls and no strikes. 2 good eye pitches to be able to take your eyes on, and those are pitches that normally Julio would have swung at and been behind the count 0-2. Good job, Julio. 2-0 pitch and another one. There we go. Maybe he got my text message. 3-0 count to Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, baby. Stand up in the building. What's good? Oh, we feel good now. Julio, yes, there we go. Julio says, I don't need a girlfriend. Here we go. Julio with a single. Let's go. Oh, yeah, it's a definitely different feeling. We had that big losing streak, and then we're like, oh, the season for some Mariner fans was over. Not for me, but I knew it was, we went from, potentially a couple months ago making the playoffs at 80% and winning the AL West to a couple days ago when we had Scott Service where it was like 16%. But now I feel that it's going to be tough, but if the Astros can hit a little bit of a wall and we can find a way to, win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, or sweep a couple teams late in these last 30 games, who knows? We might make the playoffs, we might not, but again, we made the right move by getting rid of Scott Service. Next up is Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Nice job by Julio getting a hit here today, my boy. Let's go, Big Dumper. Stand up in the building. What's good, my guy? How are you? Pitches inside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Rasmussen to Raleigh. And with Drew Rasmussen, 0-0 record, limited innings, 2.70 ERA. So nothing really to get scared of. Not like we're going against Scooball and the Tigers or anything like that, or Skeens from Pittsburgh. But again, sometimes when we go against pitchers that have bad records and high ERAs, they find a way to get 10 Ks on the Mariners since we do strike out a lot. But we're not the number 1 strikeout team anymore, which is good. DX in the building. What's good? Bottom of the first, 0-0. Runner at first. 1-2 pitch. Pitches inside. Throw to first. And Julio dives back to first, safe. Go, baby. Yeah, Randy's been very hit or miss, though. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We got 27 in the room, and we only had 10 likes. Let's try to get to that 20 number quick, so that way we can get the algorithm going. Let's go. 10 more to get to 20. Julio in the second, and out. Unbelievable. Julio. So Julio does one good thing. He ends up getting a base hit, and we're very good at stealing. We're the number 1 stealing team in the American League based off our percentage. We have the highest steal rate out of any team in the American League, but in the last 2 games, we've been called out at least once in each game. And there is Julio, kind of a wasted at-bat, obviously, for him finally getting back on track, and he can't steal second, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. End of the first, 0-0, Rays and Mariners. But with Randy, he's had some moments where, he let a foul ball or a pop-up go over his head, and then it was a very lazy throw into the infield, and that kind of made me nervous. He has made some good diving catches, but it just seems like a lack of focus out there. And I get it, if you play outfield, there's a lot of times where you're out there kind of just thinking to yourself or talking to the other outfielders, or maybe even talking to yourself and just waiting for the action to come to you. But I just want Randy to have his head on a swivel because, again, he's the best option we've had at left field in a long, long time. And the last thing that we need is him to be a liability on defense. End of the first, 0-0, Rays and Mariners. Let's see who's up next for Tampa Bay. Next up for the Rays, right fielder, Josh Lowe. Batting second in the 6 hole, left fielder, Dylan Carlson. And batting third, the former Seattle Mariner shortstop today. He can play second or third as well, Jose Caballero. Let's go, Mariners. Let him know. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. Let's get a dono train going, baby. All right, there we go. We're at 13. 7 more to get to 20. Let's go, baby. Astros with an early 1-0 lead. We'll see what happens as the game progresses. First pitch from Castillo to Lowe. Crushes that one foul. No balls and 1 strike to Josh Lowe. I appreciate that. I know I give a lot of effort, with every single broadcast that I do. And I'm really the only, full-time Seattle Mariners streamer that's going to be doing, 95% of the games throughout a season. You're not going to find anyone else that's going to be doing 150, 160 games out of 162. And the only reason that we don't do every single game is sometimes we're going to have a football game like Monday Night Football. Maybe we have a WWE pay-per-view. Sometimes it just lines up on a bad time where they're, at the same time. Low, back, gone. 1-0 Rays. See ya. Big homer for Josh Lowe. He did homer in game number 1 as well. And Luis Castillo, come on, my guy. At least it was only a solo jack. I guess that's what we have to be thankful for. 96.4 exit velo, very low number, and 374 feet. So it's not like he crushed it, but he had enough on it. And right there in the bottom of the strike zone, Mitch Garver is catching today, and that's another problem. Next up, left fielder Dylan Carlson. But I do appreciate the kind words, my guy. I feel that I put out one of the best baseball broadcasts, on YouTube overall, and we're going to be growing, and we have been growing on a good foot. And we have almost 3,000 people that watch us regularly each month. So, little slow roll dribbler, throw to first, 1 away. Next up, the former Mariner shortstop, Jose Caballero. Pitch right down the middle, popped up by Jose. Stays in foul territory, on the net. What a catch by Luke Raley. There we go, 2 away. Next up for the Rays, catcher Ben Rortvedt. Nice job, Luke. Luke always hustling and giving 100% against not only his former team, but every matchup that he gets to play in. Next up is Ben Rortvedt, batting 8th in the order. Castillo already 24 pitches in. Pitch right down the middle for a strike. It's crazy how Castillo came in from the Reds in 2022 and helped us make the playoffs, but he's progressively gotten worse and worse each year since then, in 2023 and now in 2024. And, at some point, we're going to have to replace him, or have him, either go to the bullpen or, figure out another situation for him because, again, not really as reliable as he was a couple years ago, and all of his statistics are declining, and they're declining pretty bad. So, again, he is still one of our top 5 guys, but he's no longer the 1. He's the 5 now. Bryce Miller is better, right? George Kirby and Logan Gilbert are better, and our best pitcher on the staff right now supposedly was the 5, and it's now number 1, Brian Wu. So, top of the second, 1-0 Rays. Nobody on, 2 outs, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Castillo to Rortvedt. Pitches outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Let's go, Louise. Three-two pitch. Pitches outside, and he walked him. But again, regardless on how our pitchers play, our starting pitchers, if we get to 4 runs or 5 runs, they're almost impossible to beat. Our record is insane. We're like, 54-11 when we get 4 runs or more. When we get 5 runs, we got like the best record. We're like 44-4. So again, we have a hard time getting to 4 or 5, but if we can ever manufacture a team that can consistently get to 4 to 5 runs, we might be able to be the best team in the American League one day, or at least top 2, top 3, right there with the Orioles and the Yankees and the Guardians. Obviously the Twins and the Royals are good. The Red Sox are good, but we could be at the very, very top, with whoever is there, whether that's the Orioles, Yankees, and Mariners, or the Guardians, Orioles, and the Mariners. But again, we just need to be able to climb the ladder. And there's a lot of hope and a lot of promise with this team moving forward. The pitching is already done. We're good there. We need more bullpen, but starting pitching is magnificent. We just got to be able to find the right players that can connect on this team. And getting rid of Scott Service was great. Now we just got to get rid of Jerry Dipoto. Jerry Dipoto is one of the worst GMs, not only in sports, but just baseball alone. And again, I feel he's the type of guy that thinks he's always right and doesn't understand that the game is changing, and he doesn't sound like a very good people person either. Very defensive, but again, you haven't really done a whole lot in the 9 years with Scott Service. You only made 1 playoff appearance. So to act like, we've been winning World Series or we've been going to the ALCS every single year, that's kind of his attitude. And I can't wait for him to get the boot and get someone better. And I know at that point, Mariner fans will be happy. But at least Service is gone. So Dan Wilson, Edgar Martinez, we like that. Manny Acta. Pitch right down the middle to Jose Siri. Should stay up and play. In right field, Victor Robles is there. And we leave one stranded there for the Rays. 1-0 Tampa. The damage is done. And that's why this broadcast will always be unique and different compared to anyone else's. I don't look at anybody else's for inspiration. I just try to come up with my own ideas and just to try to give you guys something special, different, something that's unique. And I feel that this is definitely one of the more unique broadcasts that's on YouTube for sports and wrestling. And we also have the flexibility to do everything. A lot of channels will specifically do just one thing, just their favorite football team, and that's it. But for us, we can do baseball, basketball, football, hockey, wrestling. Anything that really comes up, we can do it. And you guys are the best fans on planet Earth. I appreciate you very much. Let's keep grinding, and let's see if we can get to that 20,500. Next goal, obviously, will be 5 million views on the channel. We broke 4.1 million views just a few weeks back, and I'm really excited of where this channel is taking off and going. Let's see where we are now here in the bottom of the second for the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 0-for-1 with a K, DHing for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting second, in the 4-hole. Cleanup hitter, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. And batting fifth, second baseman, Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. Let's get it, baby. Bring that electricity. We need to be able to get on the board. And again, we want to make sure we get our first run within the first 4 innings, if possible. That way we can set the tone. Jacob in the building. What's good? Oh, they have Randy up. That's right, because Cal ended up getting out there with the Julio play. All right, Randy, let's go. Oh, 1 pitch. Little slow dribbler towards third base. Run it out, Randy. Hey, there we go. Go, Randy, go. Hell yeah. Randy to second off the wild throw. Hell yeah, Randy. There we go. That made up for that diving catch that you missed there. Arozarena reached to second base on a throwing error to first. We'll take that. And this was a very slow roll dribbler towards third. Wild throw to first, and Randy easily skates to second. Let's take advantage of this particular error by the Tampa Bay Rays. Next up, second baseman Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. You're due for a home run, my guy. Pitches inside, 1 ball and no strikes to Polo. 216 average, 13 homers, and 37 ribbies. All right, we're 8 likes away from getting to 20. Let's try to get there. Now we're at 13. Thank you so much. 7 more to go to hit the goal there in the first hour. Let's get it, baby. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Tampa. Runner at second with no outs. Rasmussen, 16 pitches in. 2-0 count to Jorge Polanco. Let him know. Big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. Come on, Polo. One pitch. Polo. Carlson's there. Randy tags up and safe, baby. There we go. Randy to third. I like the base running. Aggressive. And again, that's how you end up taking advantage of being one of the lowest batting average, teams in baseball. You have to find ways to bunt. You have to find ways to be aggressive, to steal bags from first to second, second to third, and tagging up on particular plays that might be not in your favor. Like right there, tagging from second to third on that type of play, he probably had a 70% chance of getting called out, and we only had a 30% chance of being safe, but he took it, and we ended up being safe there, not like Julio in the previous inning. So, again, nice base running and intelligence there, and a little bit of luck for Randy Arozarena now at third in great position to tie the game up here in the bottom of the second with 1 out. Next up is Luke Raley. Pitches inside, 2 balls and no strikes. 235 average, 16 homers, and 42 ribbies for our boy, Luke Raley. Two-0 pitch. Kind of a half swing attempt right there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Luke Raley, 1 for 5 in this particular series, and we would love for him to get it going. Oh, nice. Popped up. Carlson is there. Randy tags up from third. Run, run, run. There we go. Randy with some great fucking base running. We're tied up, baby. 1-1. Yes, sir. Yeah, let's go, baby. JP loves it. Let's go. Nice job, Randy. And again, I've been on him here in the last few days, so it's nice for him to make up for some of the lackluster effort that we've seen in left field. Nice job, Randy, with that base running. We're tied up at 1. Hell yeah. There we go. Megan with the like and the share on the Twitter/X. Appreciate you. Yeah, JP didn't do the sack fly. I just threw his photo up there based off his reaction there in the dugout. It was Luke Rayleigh there who ended up getting out. Next up is Dylan Moore. 1 ball and 1 strike to Demo. Megan in the building. How are you? Demo popped up, fading foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Big swing and a miss. Demo throws his bat in disgust. End of the second inning, but we tied it up by great base running and a throwing error by the Rays. Randy Arozarena, we're knotted up at 1. Let's go to the top of the third. And a little bit more energy, even though it's an earlier game. We had a kind of a pitcher's duel, but for it to be like 0-0 for more than half of the game, and you're both at like 1 hit, I'm not going to say a game like that is boring, but again, you know that the runs are going to come up and the big hits are going to happen later in the game. But at least we get some excitement early, and hopefully we can end up getting the dub to win this series. We need it desperately. Let's go to the top of the third and see who's up next here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Next up for the Rays, first baseman, Yandy Diaz, 0 for 1. Batting second, 0 for 1, Brandon Lowe. And batting third, 1 for 1, third baseman, Junior Caminero. Let's go, baby. Brandon in the building. What's good? Seven more likes. There we go. We got another one. 6 more likes to hit that goal within the first hour. We got 18 minutes to get 6 likes, and then we're on our way. Let's go, baby. And like I mentioned multiple times on the stream, make sure you guys are taking care of your mental health. Addiction, depression, anxiety. These are things that not only I've gone through and battled with, but I know some of y'all are going through it now or have recently. So if you feel like you're stuck a little bit and you feel like you're going into the darkness, make some minor adjustments to your daily routine, exercise more, eat healthier, spend time with pets and family, listen to music. Make sure you're doing the things that that will make you happy and make you get back on track so you can win the day. Let's go, baby. Top of the third, 1-1, Rays and Mariners. Castillo on the mound, 35 pitches in, and we need him to be lights out if we want to be able to win this game here today. Let's go, Luis. La Piedra in the building. Let's go. In the box, Yandy Diaz. Whoa, wild pitch. Good thing Mitch Garver caught that. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yandy Diaz. 275 average, 11 homers, and 57 ribbies for Diaz in 2024. Pitch is low and on the corner for a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike, and it looks like this up is a little bit better than yesterday's. Popped up. Nice catch by Julio Rodriguez. Good effort there. Nice to see Julio with a smile on his face. No fly zone, baby. Nice job, Julio. Great defense. Keep it going. One away. Next up for the Rays, batting second in the order, Brandon Lowe. Wow. Top of the third, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Yeah, I think it's really important. You don't really see a lot of channels that bring up, mental health, and I always will make sure I bring that up, as well as the importance of, cats and dogs and kittens and puppies and the impact that they can have on your life, especially if you feel like you're in a very low spot. Now, you have to be a responsible, dog, father, dog mother, or if you have cats or kittens, you want to make sure that you're not just taking care of a puppy or a kitten and giving it all that love and attention when they're young, and then as they get older you ignore them. It is a 10 to 15 year commitment, and again, not everyone deserves to own a cat or dog, and that's the truth. But again, if you know how to properly take care of a cat or a dog, it could definitely bring a lot of joy to your life, like it did for me. Top of the third, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Nobody on, one out. 3-2 pitch from Castillo to Lau. Chop foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-two pitch. Pitches inside, and he walked him. Come on. Castillo. Next up, third baseman, Junior Caminero. Yeah, a good support group of friends definitely helps. But the problem is, throw to first is wild. Let's be honest, a lot of people out there suck. There's a lot, obviously a lot of times pets, are better companions than humans sometimes. We've all gone through bad friendships, or bad breakups, based on, other people's actions and whatnot, but again, I feel like just because, like this group here, just because I haven't seen some of you guys face to face doesn't mean that we don't have a very strong bond and connection. Hell, I'm stronger and closer to a lot of y'all than even people that live here in my hometown state in Oregon. And like I said, my circle is really small. I used to hang out with a lot of different people, but I decided to cut that back. And really, I only have like maybe 2 people that I really kick it with on a semi-regular basis, since I hang out with you guys pretty much every day. But Paisley and you guys are my number one focus, with the channel and with Paisley. So again, my best friend Justin, we'll hang out maybe once a month. And again, I got my buddy Joey and his wife Jamie and their son Augie. I haven't got to see them in quite some time. Hopefully I will, but it's all about the connection that you have with people. Big swing and a miss. Christopher Morel got him. Let's go. Let's go to the bottom of the third. 1-1 Mariners and Rays. Sit down, Christopher Morel. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in the 8-hole, catching today, Mitch Garver. Batting second in the 9-hole, right fielder Victor Robles. And batting third, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go Mariners. Great to have JP back, baby. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, that there's just so many unreliable, untrustworthy people, and again, I think as you get older, you start to realize, you don't need to be a people pleaser. It doesn't matter if people like you or not. You just have to get to a point where if you can have your own peace of mind, and even if that's just you with your pets or, you're not really seeing a lot of people face to face, in your hometown, that's okay. Sometimes hanging around a bunch of people isn't really good for your mental health, especially if you get people that drain your energy. And you guys know what I'm talking about when you have those certain friends where you try to, be friends and you like them, but there's just so much drama in their life after you hang out with someone. Sometimes you feel emotionally drained. And again, like with me, I'm an empath. So I feel a little bit more emotion for empathy and sympathy, but it can only go so far. And friendships and relationships got to be 50-50. And anytime you end up feeling that someone is sucking all the life out of you, emotionally, sometimes you got to take a step back and realize that those are not the type of people for you. And, and once you realize that, your true happiness can really start. Bottom of the third, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Nobody on, 1-0 count to Mitch Garver. Pitch right down the middle to Garv. 1 ball and 1 strike. Let's go, Garv. 164 average, 12 homers, 38 ribbies. By far our worst player on Seattle. And hopefully he can get that batting average at least at 200 by the time the season ends. But I don't know if that'll happen. Two-one pitch. That one fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, the Kobe giveaway, which was very cool. TK Hernandez homered in that game, wearing the number 8 as well. And I know they're already lining up for the Shohei Ohtani bobble tonight, I believe, with him and his dog on the bobble. The game isn't even until tonight at 7 p.m., I believe, and they've already been lined up at 7 a.m. So it shows you in LA how big Shohei Ohtani merch is. Anytime they end up doing anything Shohei, it's going to be, something that people are looking to collect as well as resell because they can make a lot of profit off those type of things. Big swing and a miss for Garv, 1 away. Next up, right fielder Victor Robles. Big swing and a miss for Victor Robles. 0-1 count. 262 average, 3 homers, and 13 ribbies for Robles here in 2024. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Nice pitch there by Kelly. Behind in the count now 0-2. It's crazy that Rasmussen only lasted 2 innings and they brought in Kelly already. Weird strategy by the manager unless he's hurt. Pitches outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Pitches outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, and I don't like Julio in the 2-hole spot. I would rather put him, in the 6-hole. Sometimes you got to punish a guy if he's not hitting well and then have him earn, that 4 or 5-hole spot. But I don't like Julio in the 2-hole. I'd rather have Victor Robles there, but we'll see on how they manage this lineup. Because then if you bat in the 9-hole like Victor Robles, you might only get 4 at-bats compared to someone that's higher in the lineup that might get 5. And Victor is one of our better hitters. He's not like a poor hitter that, is a normal 9-hole hitter. Little slow roll dribbler. There we go. Exactly the same type of hit as Randy Arozarena. Kind of almost like a bunt, but it was just a slow roll swing, and it just barely went in front of him towards third base, but stayed fair, and he was able to run to first very easily there. There we go, Victor. Yeah, decoy. Nice job, Victor. Next up, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Let's go, Crawdaddy. Let's get it, baby. Pitch in there for a strike to J.P. Crawford. 0-1 count. Bottom of the third, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Runner at first, 1 out. Kelly on the mound, 13 pitches in. Coming in for Rasmussen. Pitches high out of the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike to Crawdaddy. J.P. Crawford, welcome back. 203 average, 9 homers and 32 ribbies for J.P. But he's had a lot of injuries this season, and we haven't had him in about 2 months. So it's nice to be able to have him back. About a month and a half, 2 months he's been out. Almost a double play attempt, but Jose had to tap the bag for the force out at second. 2 away. Whoa, they say end of the third? Hold on here. I thought we only had 2 there. Now they're saying the inning is over. Crawford grounded out and did the double play, but did JP just stop running to first? I'm confused. They cut away from that right there, but unless he tagged the bag and then did the force out there, but interesting. Well, I guess we're out of the inning. End of the third inning, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. I hate when they, have the camera and then they cue a commercial, or they just the inning is over? Okay, I guess. Didn't look like a double play to me unless, the cameraman did a better job there, but I guess that's what happened. All right, let's go to the top of the fourth, and we're knotted up here at 1. Let's see who's up here for the Tampa Bay Rays. That was a very confusing play there. I didn't see a double play, but I saw a force out at second by Jose, but the throw to first, I don't know if JP just stopped running and then they called him out at that late throw, but I guess that's what happened. Next up for the Rays, 1 for 1 with a run, RBI, hit a home run in his last at-bat, right fielder Josh Lowe. Batting second, left fielder, 0 for 1, Dylan Carlson. And batting third, 0 for 1, shortstop Jose Caballero. Let's go Mariners. Appreciate that. All right, let's see where we're at. We're getting close to the 1 hour mark. How close are we getting to 20? We're almost there. We're at 15. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. Now we're at 16. We only need 4 more here in the next few minutes, and that'll hit the algorithm and help us get more people in the room, potentially more likes, more views, more subs, and more donos. Let's go, baby. 4 more to hit that number, to hit 20. Let's go. And we'll see when we get a dono train lined up. So JP stopped running, and then they threw it to first, but the cameraman didn't show that. I mean, anytime you run hard to first, you never know, if it's going to be a wild throw, and that's why I want to see full effort. Everyone, even if it looks like you're going to be 99% out, you never know what that transition from that fielding, defense to the throw to first. A lot of times the throws are off, or the first baseman doesn't catch it, and then you can get lucky if you just run hard to first, and hopefully JP will learn from that mistake there. 1 for 1 with a solo home run in the second for Josh Lowe. 1-1 pitch from Castillo to Lowe, pitches outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Appreciate that. Sometimes, you just know, what your destiny is going to be at a very young age. And again, a lot of people, mention, before really YouTube was going and before, there was podcasts even existed, that they're like, oh, you got kind of like that radio TV voice. So I never really saw myself on necessarily radio or TV, but I definitely knew, something with sports was in my future. And, working in phone sales for like 20 years of my life for high-end companies, I had the opportunity to speak with, people of all races, of all ages. And that definitely helped kind of model my voice and my tonality, and knowing how to speak to people, and being on the microphone is second nature to me, like riding a bike. Big swing and a miss. Got him. 1 away. Down goes Josh Lowe. Next up, left fielder Dylan Carlson. Well, we'll see what you do. I mean, there's going to be only 4 spots in the playoffs. And if I had to put money on it, me and Reflect are going to be in. So who are going to be the other 2 out of the other 8 participants? You got 3 females that are going to be in the Fantasy Football League. And, I feel that anything could happen with the females as well. It all first starts off on the draft that you have. And if you pick up the right players at the right time and start following the league as a whole. But again, we've seen Sarah have a good finish. Megan is new. This is her 2nd year of doing it. Zini Panini ended up winning our league a few years ago. So just because you're a female in the league doesn't mean you're at a disadvantage. If anything, it's going to put a little bit of fear into some of the other guys that are in the league. That it's not going to be easy just because you play a female in the league. You might get your ass kicked, and that is being truthful. So I can't wait to be able to see how it all plays out. But we'll see if you end up joining the party, Matt, if you're good enough to join with the big boys. It's one thing to know routes and to know wide receivers and tight ends and that aspect of the game. But do you know the league as a whole as good as me and Reflect? We'll find out. Top of the 4th, 1-1, Rays and Mariners, nobody on. 1 out, 3-2 pitch from Castillo to Carlson. Line drive, Julio was there. Wow. No fly zone, baby. Yes, sir. Let's go, baby. Julio with another amazing grab in center field, and it feels good to have him back, not DHing. Great glove work by J-Rod. Let's go. Way to bring that electricity, Julio Rodriguez. Yes, sir. Bring that electricity, baby. Next up, for the Rays, Jose Caballero, batting in the 7 hole, the former Seattle Mariner. I mean, some things are going to be out of our control, right? Injuries, and especially if you have season-ending injuries early. But how you end up preventing that from being like your total collapse, and the league is just fucked at that point. You have to draft well. You have to have good backups, and you have to make sure that you have a backup plan for every player. You backup quarterback, or at least someone in mind. Lots of running backs and wide receivers. If maybe you go 1 tight end, or if you get 2. Or if you have, 1 defense, or if you have 3, if you only have 1 kicker, or you have 2, like you got to make sure that you have a contingency plan just in case, because there's going to be injuries, and hopefully if there is injuries, it's just going to be minor, where maybe you miss a guy for like a couple weeks. But if you end up having, season-ending injuries, 3 out of your top 9, yeah, it's going to be very hard to be able to come back, especially with the talent that we have in the room. Shep is a good player. Chief will bring it. And there's going to be a few newbies to the channel. We'll see what Elliot does and Matt does and a few others, but as well as Captain Oreo and a few others in the room. But it's going to be very competitive, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. Routine grounder, throw to first. Got him. All right, baby, let's go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-1, Rays and Mariners. Marcos in the building. That's my boy. Always, dude. I always got to be swagged up, dude. How are you, my guy? You excited for the Seahawks this year? You excited for the Beavers? I know that you are very, very excited for football season. Marcos is one of my oldest friends. We've known each other for a long, long time. Never had beef. Never had any issues, and we support each other through and through. And there's not a lot of people that live in Oregon that are on my Facebook list that actually watch my videos and support me. There's a lot of people that hate on me, and hope that I fail. But Marcos definitely isn't one of those. He's been a supporter since day one, and I appreciate you very much. Hopefully things are going better for you, for your mental health. I know you've been going through some ups and downs. I saw a picture of you and your kids on Facebook recently within the last couple of weeks. You guys both look happy, and I appreciate you, my guy. Oh, $5 dono. Appreciate you, my guy. Marcos getting it started with a $5. I assume that probably was on the Venmo side. Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, man. $5 holla from Marcos. Let's go. What do you want to see for photos? You want some Seahawks, my guy? Seahawks or Beavers? Marcos Pineda, $5 holla. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang, $5 holla. And from another Seahawk fan, $10 holla. There we go. Now we're at 15. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys too. Number one, the defense is going to get better. And trust me, once you guys get your offensive line on point, and the defense on point, there will be a time that you challenge the Niners for first place in the NFC West. It may not be this year unless the Niners have a lot of season-ending injuries. Like if they lose, Bosa, Purdy, Kittle, some of the, Debo, for a long period of time or season-ending, then yeah, the Seahawks can definitely take advantage. But if there isn't really any big injuries, you can still finish in second with 10 to 12 wins and do some damage in the playoffs. So I know the Rams are going to be competitive, but they don't have Aaron Donald. I think their offense will be good, but their defense is kind of wait and see. And obviously we know the Seattle's defense and O-line are a work in progress, but bringing in McDonald from the Ravens is brilliant. And I like the vibe that I'm getting out of the new OC as well. Things are starting to come together, and I feel Seattle will play a little bit of bully ball where they're going to go on a lot of one-on-one matchups with Kenneth Walker III, as well as one-on-one with fade routes with DK. And you didn't really see that enough in the Pete Carroll era. So I feel that Lockett will get everything intermediate with JSN, right, with Jackson Smith and Jigba. But if you end up being on like the 10-yard line and it's one-on-one DK Metcalf, as long as the throw is good by Geno, let's be honest, how many corners or safeties are going to be able to body up DK Metcalf? Barely any. Maybe like a couple in the entire league, and again, he's got the body size and the strength and the hops to win that matchup almost every single time. So again, if they end up playing that approach, it could be a long season for DBs with Geno going to DK, Lockett, and JSN. I'm very excited about that. As well as the offensive line and defensive improvements. Back, all the way to the wall, and Cal Raleigh flied out to left, 2 away. DX with the 20. Release the Kraken, baby. And that's something that we got in common, you, me, and Megan. And again, we've been doing Kraken games for the last couple years, and hopefully we can gain a few more on the fan base as well. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you, Marcos, starting the Dono train after an hour in. And Marcos, you're the man. DX, you're the man. Megan, you're the woman. Appreciate you guys. We're at 35, 65 to go. Paisley and me, thank you. Bottom of the fourth, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Next up, 1-0 count to Randy Arozarena. And I'll get photos for the three of you once we get into a commercial break. Pitch on the corner for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 for 1 with a single in the second and a run for Randy Arozarena. One-two pitch. Pitches outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Three for 8 this series for Randy. 2-2 pitch. Fair ball. Throw to first. Safe. Good effort by Randy Arozarena right there on that weak hit dribbler, which is something that Randy's kind of known for. He's not going to hit with a lot of power, but if you're going to hit a little blooper, make sure you're running hard to first, because you never know. That throw was off a one-hopper, and it was actually a pretty good throw falling away, and if Randy doesn't hustle, he's out. Nice job getting to the first base. There we go, and maybe we'll be able to take the lead here. All right, well, now we got another pitcher coming in for the Rays. Wow, 3rd pitcher already, and we're only in the 4th inning. The game is 1-1. It's not like we're up 5-1 at this point. Weird. All right, I guess that's what Tampa's doing. Yeah, and Marcos has been a long-time Seahawk fan. You know, same thing with the Beavers. Plays a lot of college football in Madden, is very familiar with everything with the team. And again, I'm very excited, you know, and even though I might not, you know, be a Seahawk fan myself, I pay attention to everything that they're doing. You know, like I said, here in the Pacific Northwest, if you live in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Alaska, you know, kind of in that general area, there is no pro team, you know, except for Seattle. So again, you know, a lot of people are going to be Mariners or Kraken, and some are long time Sonics fans. And once the Sonics come back, they'll be back on that train as well. And even though I'm a Bucks fan, you know, they didn't have the defensive players for me back then for the Niners or the Hawks, which might have been maybe a natural fit for me. Now, if I lived in Washington, I definitely would have been a Hawk fan, you know, but since I live in Oregon, you know, and I'm more of a defensive minded fan, they just didn't have what I connected to at the time. But, you know, if they had guys, you know, like Bobby Wagner back then, or like the Legion of Boom back in like the 90s, yeah, I definitely would have been a Seahawk fan, and it would have been Kraken, Seahawks, Mariners. But, you know, we still pay attention in a lot of the outlets here in Oregon, keep up on everything Seahawks, even though that might not be my primary team. I'm always keeping tabs. Let me hit some Marshawn Lynch for my boy Marcos, and then we'll go through some of those. Bottom of the fourth, 1-1, runner at first with 2 outs. Alexander into the game, revealing Kelly. Polo shows bunt. I like it. It seems like they've been getting my text messages lately about bunting and how important it is. It's crazy how we started talking about that in the last week, and then even the Little League World Series ended up hearing it, and they ended up winning the championship off a bunt. Bunting is very underrated. Polo got jammed, popped up, and that is out of play. I got a white Marshawn, stud, and we got the blue Marshawn. Let's go. I miss him. One of a kind. You know, and if you don't have a player like that, you know, that definitely sets the tone. But now you got a guy who's kind of similar, you know, and Kenneth Walker III, that they're going to be bruisers. And I expect Kenneth to have a monster season this year, especially with some upgrades on that O-line. It's going to be a very fun team to watch in 2024. 0-2 pitch from Alexander to Polo. Pitch is outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Appreciate you, Marcos. We'll get DX and Megan's photos up here next. Got to keep your chickens and mentals in check. Absolutely. Force out at second, and the inning is over. Get some Vince Dunn here for DX. And we'll be doing quite a few Kraken games. Obviously, once we get, obviously football will be a little bit more of a priority. But again, once football starts to kind of wind down and then it's just either basketball or hockey, then we're going to be doing a lot of the Kraken for sure. We just got to be able to see what's going to be the best event for that particular day. So there'll be some of the early matchups that we might not do. I'll keep tabs on everything that's going on. Just because I'm not streaming it doesn't mean I'm not watching, because I'll definitely be watching a lot of the Kraken matchups this season and beyond. But again, as far as streams, some of those will be a little bit later in the season. But if we ever have a day off, where there's nothing going on, yeah, we'll definitely do that. Lou Pinella's birthday today. Happy birthday, sweet Lou. Top of the fifth, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. And I'll get you some more photos of Kraken once we go to commercial break. Popped up by Ben Rortvet. Luke Rayleigh is there. Got him. Nice job by Luke Rayleigh there with the out. Ben Rortvet flied out, one away. Next up, center fielder for the Rays, Jose Siri. 0 for 1. Let's make it 0 for 2. Oh, 1 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and Siri goes down to his butt. Hopefully he's okay. You don't see players swing and fall all the way on their ass that often. He was like, I'm trying to go for a home run, and that momentum, and then he slips, and there goes the bat, and there goes Siri on his bum. Top of the fifth, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Castillo so far, besides giving up that early home run to Lowe, it's been pretty good since then. We're knotted up at 1. He hasn't given up those big 3-run homer or that 5-6 hits in a row to say, damn it, the game is over. We're in it still. It's still 1-1, but we'll have to see what our bullpen looks like, obviously, as we get further on into the game. 0-2 pitch from Jose Siri from Castillo, and he singles to right. Nice little base knock after falling on his ass. Nice job by Jose Siri. Next up for the Rays, first baseman Yandy Diaz. Yeah, if you're getting a C and a D on the draft grade, it means you don't know how to draft, my guy. Just because, like I said, route running and plays is one thing, and you might have favorite players, and you might think that you know football. But again, to be good in fantasy, you have to know the league as a whole, and you have to be very thorough, on who's good and who's not, and who's going to get the reps. And it's not by name recognition. You have to be on the stats. And if you're not a stat and analytical guy or girl, you will struggle in fantasy because, again, if you're going based off popular names, you're going to get absolutely crushed. Just because a guy is popular and he's a name doesn't mean he's necessarily going to be a good fantasy player. And that's kind of the breakdown. So it sounds like you need to practice if you're getting C and D grades, my guy. That's not good, bro. C, D grades? I mean, And so obviously there's a strategy too. Again, there's many ways that you can go about it. When do you pick a quarterback? How do you go in your first 4 picks? When do you pick tight end? When do you get a kicker and a defense? You got to make sure you're not doing these things too early, because if you end up grabbing guys too early, right, and then you don't have a well-rounded team, you're going to get a CD grade. You got to make sure you got heavy hitters all the way from the top to the bottom. And then normally with me and guys like Reflect, our bench is better than most people's starting groups. So again, you want to almost have 2 full squads of teams. You want your starting lineup and you want your bench to be able to compete with anybody else's starting lineup. And if your bench is as good as others' starting lineup, you have a great team. But if your bench stinks and you don't have good depth, a couple injuries, you're fucked, and that's how it goes. So, it seems like you want to probably practice a little bit more. But again, there is a certain type of strategy, and it's not necessarily something that you can just go on the internet and it tells you this is the perfect strategy, based on fantasy football. Because again, your strategy from picking first to picking 5th or picking 10th is going to be different, and again, you have to understand, the format and the layout for you to be able to, make the most out of every single draft. But again, if you haven't played in a couple years, it might be a rude awakening, once we go into the draft. So, and again, a lot of people in the room, are going to be very, very competitive. It's not going to be, I'm easily going to make the playoffs type of thing, and again, the time and energy and effort that you put in, like for me, I'm on it 4 hours a day. I'm on it more than anybody else. I look at my team, I look at my bench, I look at all the players on the wire, and I spy on every fucking person's team, including their bench. I'm fucking going through every single detail. I know when all your guys have a bye. I know when you have a good lineup and a bad lineup. I'm looking at everything. So again, I don't expect anyone to be like me, but I'm looking at every single advantage that I can get in fantasy. So bottom of the 5th, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Nobody on, 1 out. Next up is Dylan Moore. Tapes ain't going to do shit though, bro. And the analytics and the stats, that's where it's going to help you. Because it's going to be about targets. It's going to be about, how many carries, the completion percentage. Tapes is one thing that you can do for like your posts on Twitter/X, but, watching tape isn't going to make you a better fantasy football player. And that's just being truthful. You just have to be able to know the league as a whole, and you have to be able to read and go through the stats and the analytics. You go through the stats and the analytics, that's going to do a hell of a lot more for you than sitting there watching 10 hours of tape of the wide receivers thinking of which one you should pick. That's just being truthful. You can watch tape until until you end up getting tired and until you can't sleep and you're just, have insomnia. But just because you watch, 20 hours of tape on wide receivers doesn't mean you're going to have a good fantasy draft. And that's just being truthful. Bottom of the 5th, 1-1 Rays and Mariners. Runner at second with 1 at. 0-1 pitch from Alexander to Garver for a strike. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Yeah, and if you don't have a strategy, that's where you fucked up right there, bro. You got to have a strategy, But again, you're not going to know your strategy until 1 hour before the actual draft starts, because that's when you find out what position you're in. Once you know what position you're in, then you can end up doing a little bit of research and reconnaissance, and then you can see, okay, I pick 5th. All right, what's the best strategy if I go 5th? And then you can look at a couple mock drafts, see what other people did, but also you have to realize that what other people do doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get the same guys at that number, because again, you're going to have people in your draft that might do things a little crazy, where they may end up going for a quarterback too early, or, they end up, kind of throwing off the order based on the players. There's always going to be people that reach for players too soon. And when that happens, it kind of starts like a fire sale, almost like a Black Friday. Like once a quarterback goes off the board, depending on what round it is, usually people get scared, and then another person gets a quarterback, and then another person gets a quarterback. So there's always going to be tone setters in the draft, and usually I'm one of them. But again, it all depends on my feeling on if I want to go a particular position in a particular round. And then usually you have to, kind of feed off what the other person is doing next to you. Like me and Sarah, we had a point where a couple years ago, she ended up going Travis Kelce, and I was kind of forced to go with like Mark Andrews or like a George Kittle, even though I didn't want to go tight end yet. But I knew if I didn't grab one now and I wait to the next round, then the elite tight ends are going to be gone more than likely. So sometimes you got to wait for someone to pull the trigger, and then you have to make a smart decision. Do you follow that person, or do you make your own strategy at that point? And that is really where a lot of people go wrong in their fantasy football draft. And again, it takes time to be good at fantasy. It's not like you're going to, do it for the first time, or you haven't done it in 5 or 10 years and you're going to have an A+ draft and be the best. It just doesn't work like that. And like I said, and also injuries are a big factor, but strategy is definitely a big part of fantasy football. If you don't have a top 5 draft out of 10 teams, you're not making the playoffs. You have to have a top 5 draft because, again, there's going to be people that are getting onto the wire. Back, gone. See ya. Victor Robles to left center in the 9-hole. 3-1 Mariners. Back. See ya. Nice job by Victor Robles in the 9-hole, baby. Bringing that electricity. 3-1 Mariners. There we go. But really what it comes down to in fantasy football that makes you like a great player is that you understand the league as a whole, and the more players that the more teams that you watch, and the more research and reading and film that you watch, the better that you're going to do. If you don't do those things, you could still get lucky and might make the playoffs, but again, the people that end up being elite, that are good every single year, there's a lot of work that's put in. A lot of reading. When you go to those buttons on those players, that are on the wire, you got to click on a bunch of them. You got to be able to, look ahead into the schedule as well. Knowing what guys have buys, and there's a lot of like little things that people don't really talk about in fantasy that, make a good strategy. Bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Mariners, nobody on with 2 outs. 3-0 pitch to J.P. Crawford. Pitch on the corner for a strike, 3 balls and 1 strike. But that's the thing, though. If you're a wide receiver, tight end kind of guy, right? And that's the expertise that you have to realize if the quarterback isn't there or if he gets hurt, then that player has no value. It's like, oh, Cooper Kupp, yeah, he's good. But if they don't got a quarterback to throw to him, then all the fantasy stats that he could have gotten go way down. It's like Justin Jefferson doesn't have Kirk Cousins anymore. Right, J.J. McCarthy got hurt. You think Jay Jetta is going to be the number 1 receiver in football? Fuck no. So again, just because you got a guy that is a good or a great elite receiver, if you don't got the quarterback there, then those guys end up being unusable. Last year I had Amon-Ra, Jay Jetta, Mike Evans, and Keenan Allen, and I dominated the league. But at the end of the year, I couldn't even use Keenan Allen because Herbert got hurt. Right, so he wasn't playing. Jay Jetta got hurt, so I could only use Mike Evans, and then Baker got hurt. The only one I was able to use is Amon-Ra, and he even got hurt for a week or 2. So again, you have to realize big names are cool, but if you don't got the connection, those stats don't mean shit. Like a guy could end up being, I can get 30 points out of Jay Jetta. Yeah, if you had Kirk Cousins, but if you end up having someone else, Jay Jetta might only get you 10 or 15 now instead of getting 30, 40, 50 like he used to. So you gotta dig deep, my guy. Bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Seattle. Next up, Julio Rodriguez. And also, too, you want to look ahead in the schedule and also, getting guys that are on good teams. You can always get guys that are on bad teams and they end up being like the main focus, whether it's a rookie or a player that's really, really good on a shitty team. But when you get a guy that obviously is on a good team, the chances are of being able to double up, triple up, and being able to maximize your day. That's another strategy for another day. Julio pitches inside. 1 ball and no strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, and I had him on Raw, and he's a great player. But again, if they didn't have Jared Goff, then he's useless. So he's still going to be good. But again, you got to have a good connection with the quarterback, wide receiver, and just pray that either one of them don't get hurt. 1 for 2 with a single in the first for Julio. Bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Seattle. Runner at first with 2 outs. Let's go, J-Rod. Julio popped up. Fading foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two pitch. Pitches outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I don't think it really matters if Matt wants to tell his strategy or his fake strategy, because if he's getting CD grades on fantasy, then it doesn't really matter what you say, bro. Okay. I think it's going to be a rude awakening, bro. Again, you might know some aspects of football, but fantasy is a whole nother fucking ball game. There's people that watch football all day and all night that are terrible at fantasy. So, bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Seattle. Runner at first with 2 outs. 2-2 pitch from Alexander to Julio. Pitches inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I don't think we need advice, bro. I mean, I have never finished lower than 3rd in any league that I've ever been in. And honestly, there's some people in the room that might mop the floor with you. So you'll find out, even though we got 3 females that are, in the room that are going to be participating in the league. Don't be surprised or shocked. Back. Yes, sir. Julio Rodriguez. Goodbye. Let's go. Julio Rodriguez with a 2-run blast. 5-1 Mariners. And I told you Julio was due, and there it is. Who needs a girlfriend? Not me, Julio says. Back. Gone. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Trident's up. You are overdue. 5-1 Mariners, and we're winning this fucking game. Hell yeah. Julio. Let's go. Way to be, J-Rod. 12th homer of the season, right in the sweet spot. Gone. Goodbye. Next up, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Nice job, Julio. You look good with the trident. It's been a minute. Steven in the building. What's good? O2 pitch. Cal pops up. And caught, but the damage is done, and we got a couple nice home runs out of Victor Robles and Julio Rodriguez. That's what I'm fucking talking about, baby. We're winning this game. Nice job, Victor. Nice job, Julio. That's what we're talking about. Hell yeah. 5-1. in the end of the 5th. Let's go to the top of the 6th. We needed that bad. Let's go. All right, let's try to get a few more photos here for DX with the Kraken while we're going into commercial break here. I can sprinkle in some Landos if you want as well. Appreciate you, DX. Hope you enjoyed these. Castillo to low, chop foul, 0-1 count. Get a couple more up here. Couple Landos with your Vince Dunn for your dono. Appreciate you. Top of the 6th, 5-1 Seattle. Feels like we've gained firm control of this game. And as long as the bullpen doesn't absolutely fucking stink, we should win this game pretty easily. But it's not over yet. Anna from Mexico loves it. Vamos, Mariners. Let's go. Line drive all the way to left field to Randy Arozarena for a single by Brandon. We're at 35, 65 to go. Next up, third baseman Junior Caminero. No, we love J-Rod. You know, we already know there's a number of reasons why he hasn't been good this year. You know, obviously no awareness of the strike zone. You know, he's off balance on every swing that he does. You know, he doesn't understand that the pitchers are trying to jam him. And then when he ends up trying to swing at pitches low and outside, he never gets contact. And then he just ended up breaking up, you know, with his soccer girlfriend. You know, so, you know, I think heartache turned into heartbreak. And I feel that, you know, when athletes end up having, you know, boyfriends, girlfriends, and they end up breaking up, you know, they can act like it doesn't bother them, but it does. And I feel that that's been a big part of his, you know, kind of downfall this year. It's multiple things, you know, that have accumulated for Julio, you know, not being able to, you know, kind of do the time in the box, you know, watching more film, you know, understanding how pitchers are pitching to him. You know, understanding that every pitcher, even shitty ones, are trying to jam him, but not adjusting, you know, off balance on every swing, trying to be a hero and play hero ball and trying to hit a home run every time instead of getting a single. But we love Julio Rodriguez, and we understand that, you know, he has had a bad year this year, but he will get better, we hope, as the years go on, especially if he wants to be a Hall of Famer or an All-Star every year or every other year. You know, a lot of things have to improve. There we go. Nice catch by Luke Raley. One away. Nice job, Luke. Nothing there for Junior Caminero. Luke Raley with a great catch in foul territory. About 3 of those today. Next up, the former Cub, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks, DHing for Tampa, Christopher Morel. But the breakup, I don't go really deep diving into people's lives and whatnot, but again, I had to kind of dig a little bit deeper on why Julio has been so bad this year. But I really do feel that the breakup, with his soccer girlfriend definitely kind of fucked him up a little bit. And, sometimes it's hard to be able to put what you have in your personal life and have it not spill over into your professional life, and a lot of times emotions can be, kind of toyed with, and hopefully Julio can get back on track mentally, because baseball is just as much mental as it is physical. I think everyone knows that. PJ in the building, what's good? Pitch is high and outside for Castillo to Morel. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No, you can play it in it next year. Even if you ended up finishing in like the bottom 4, Matt, and you ended up, going, 4-10 or something like that. Like I said, it'll be more motivation to be able to do more next year to try to get better. Try to go from 4 wins, to like 8 wins, and then seeing where you can go. But you'll see, in the league, the top end people, they'll go not necessarily undefeated in 14 weeks. But it's very possible at the very top, people will go 13-1 and 12-2. You'll be shocked on how good some people are that are in the room. And again, injuries have something to do with it, but also having a good draft helps, and also picking up guys on the wire as well. And being able to navigate through those, guys that maybe aren't popular names, but they're filling in for someone that's injured, or maybe it's a third option wide receiver that's starting to get a lot of targets. Like, you have to be really, really smart and crafty to manufacture a championship caliber team in fantasy. It's not like you just magically can just pick whoever you want and then, I'm going to be a champion. I wish it was that easy, but it really isn't. I mean, I make every week I make the most moves out of anybody in the league, but in a year, I'll make maybe 100 to 200 moves in a year, and that's probably 100 more than anyone else in the league. But again, I'm always trying to upgrade my team every single week, and not every person in the league will do that. And sometimes if you don't upgrade your team every week, you will fall behind, and you will fall back in the standings. So 240 average, 9 homers, and 29 ribbies for Josh Lowe. Top of the 6th, runners at first and second with 1 out. 5 for 9 this series by Josh. He's been the MVP for the Tampa Bay Rays in this series. Big swing and a miss. Behind him the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. 5 for 9 in this series. Top of the 6th, 5-1 Seattle. Big swing and a miss. Yeah, I think for most fans, I think a lot of them thought that could possibly happen. So I'm good. And if anyone gets injured, boom, they can end up getting in there and being a part of the 53. So. And sometimes in fantasy, it's just bad luck, where let's say you have your amazing team and then you end up having 5 guys out of 9 that have buys on the same week and your bench isn't very good. You can end up playing someone that isn't very good in fantasy, or they are really good and they might beat you, just based on not having enough depth on the team or having too many guys with a bye in 1 week. Because a lot of times, whatever week is your weakest week, usually you lose because you're going to go against someone that doesn't have as many guys on a bye. And especially if you got like your quarterback, 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and a tight end all with a bye, you better hope that your bench is good enough to keep up with whoever you're going against, or you're automatically going to lose. And sometimes you can fight and you can try your best, but a lot of times, if you got too many guys on a bye, it's too much to overcome. So sometimes you'll end up getting a weak player, that has a good week that could beat someone that's a top tier candidate, or it could be someone that's a good player versus a good player, and it just ends up being, I had too many guys on a bye, nothing I could do. So top of the 6, 5-1 Seattle. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. That one chopped foul, 0-1 count. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs. I mean, I'm real, Adam. Again, about 2 months ago, we had an 80% chance to make it and win the AL West over the Astros. Line drive. Tampa about to score. 5-2, Seattle. Nice RBI there for Tampa. But, we'll see where it goes. As of a few days before we got Dan Wilson, it went all the way down to like 16% from like 80, and again, we only got like 30 games left. So we really need the Astros to hit a wall, and then the Mariners have to win 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, or get some sweeps, and then maybe we'll be able to make it. But, it's too early to tell. Luis Castillo now out of the game. And overall, he was pretty good up until this inning. Dan Wilson makes the call. Runners at first and third with 2 outs. Because the last thing that we need is, for him to give up a 3-run blast and the game is tied and then we lose. So, but overall, Luis had a decent day. Obviously gave up that early home run, but since then, not a whole lot. Besides this particular inning where we're now at 5-2. Nice RBI there by Dylan Carlson. Single to center, low scored, Morel to third. 5-2 Seattle. Top of the 6 with 2 outs. 5-2 Mariners. Yeah, not getting any help. If we would have won yesterday when the Phillies beat them, but yeah, it doesn't look like the Phillies are going to be coming back today, but you never know. Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. Carpenter and Green, baby. Who are we bringing in? All right, let's see where we're at on the likes. I haven't checked that out in a minute. Hopefully we have some people that will help out on that end. Where are we at? All right, we're at 23. We need 7 more to get to 30. Now we're at 24. We need 6 more to at least get to 30. We want to get to 30 to 50. And again, I know, it takes us 1 second to do, and it definitely helps out with our algorithm and as far as recommendations to the channel. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. We want to try to get 30 to 50 on every single stream, and it has made a big difference here on the channel as of late. All right, Luis Castillo, final numbers, 5.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 97 pitches, 60 strikes with a 3.65 ERA. And now we bring in Austin Voth. Get out of this inning. No more runs. Top of the 6, 5-2 Seattle. Runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Don't fuck this up, Austin. Come on now. And our bullpen is very shaky. Popped up. There we go. Nice job by Austin Voth to get that pop up there. Hell yeah. Because again, that could have been bad where they could have ended up getting 5-3, 5-4, or potentially tying it up with a home run at 5-5. So at least we stopped that momentum that was starting to kind of happen there for Tampa. Now let's go to the bottom of the 6th with a 3-run lead. Let's go. Next up for the Mariners, 2 for 2 with a run, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting second baseman, Jorge Polanco, 0 for 2. And batting third, 0 for 1 with an RBI and a K, Luke Raley. Let's go, Luke. He's been playing great defense at first base, getting a lot of outs in foul territory. Now we just need the bat to light up here today. And if you're just tuning in to the broadcast, JP Crawford, first game back, leading off at shortstop in about 2 months after breaking a pinky. Low homer to right center in the top of the 2nd to give Tampa a 1-0 lead. Raley hit a sacrifice fly to left. Arozarena scored after stealing 2nd and 3rd, 1-1 game. Then in the bottom of the 5th, Robles homered to left center with Demo on board, 3-1 Mariners. Then later in the inning, Julio homered to left with Crawford on board, 5-1 Mariners. And then Carlson just singled to center with Lowe scored and Christopher Morel to third, 5-2 Seattle. So at least the bats are starting to kind of open up here. And the impact of JP Crawford is definitely significant. Glad to have him back in the lineup. Wow, 7-0 Astros. Yeah, Phillies ain't coming back. What inning is it? Great 5th inning for the Mariners. One of the best 5th innings that we've had in a long time. I mean, when's the last time we hit 2 home runs in the same inning, let alone both of them being 2-run jacks? I'm trying to remember. I don't think we've done it all year. That might be the first time all year that we've hit 2 2-run jacks in the same inning. Nice job, Seattle. Arozarena popped up into right field, 1 away. Anybody injured for Philadelphia, or they just had a bad pitcher today? What's the deal? Why are the Phillies with Bryce Harper and Schwartz and company and Trey Turner? What's going on with them? Was it just a really good pitching matchup? You know, poor performance by certain guys. What's going on in that matchup? Next up for the Mariners, it's Jorge Polanco. Let's go, Polo. First pitch is inside to Polo. 1 ball and no strikes. I'm excited for you, MSU. You know, again, small market teams don't get a whole lot of love and pub, but I got mad respect for people that will, you know, stick with their team no matter what. You know, and sometimes there's going to be many years of bad baseball or bad whatever, you know, whatever team that you're following. Hell, the Mariners went through 20 years of not making the playoffs. But, you know, ever since we got Julio, George Kirby, and Cal Raleigh in 2022, I feel that we're going to have more successful seasons in that 20-year gap from 2022 to 2042 than our team's existence prior to then. You know, I've been a fan for almost 40 years. I've only had really 4 good years, 4 good seasons out of like 39. So I'm very excited in 20 years, if we can have 12 good seasons out of 20, it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward for our teams. You know, and again, you know, it seems like we got a little bit of an upper hand compared to you, at least at this point, you know, with our pitching staff. But at least you got Scooball, and a lot of your young talent is starting to get better and better with more experience, which is all you can ask for. And you got arguably the best pitcher in the game, so, you know, it's something to be jealous about right there with Scooball. Scooball, Sale, Skeens, everyone with an F in their name, huh? Tied with the Angels at 9. Well, hopefully you guys can get back. That one chop foul by Jorge Polanco. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, we do. We need better relievers. Our relievers stink. I mean, I do like Troy Taylor. You know, Chargois, you know, is all right. You know, and we had Jimmy Garcia and Santos, but they got hurt. But a lot of the guys like Sauce and, you know, Trent Thornton and Vogt, a lot of these, I don't trust them. You know, I don't trust a lot of these guys, and we haven't had Matt Brash all year. You know, so obviously if you had Matt Brash, we would have won at least 5 or 6 more games with just him pitching in the 6th and 7th inning. So again, we need to find a better quality 1 through 9 lineup. You know, we have to figure out, you know, let guys like Polo and Garv not grab guys like that in free agency. Let those guys go to other teams and bring up our farm system guys instead, and use that money that we did for Polo and Garv and use it for pitchers. And even if they're starting pitchers on other teams, move them to the bullpen. That would have been money better spent for the Mariners. But again, batting average will get better. We got a good farm system with guys coming in, and a lot of them are, infield or outfield guys. Lazaro Montes, right field, right? Harry Ford, catcher, right? And you got Colt Emerson and Cole Young that can play shortstop, second base, third base. So the future is bright, right? And we also have Durangelo, the Mississippi State pitcher we picked in the draft this year, that can pitch left-handed and right-handed. And one day we might see him in the bullpen, or maybe even being in the starting five. So again, there's a lot of things that we can improve on. And again, having our superstars like Julio struggle, it sucks. But again, you have to have a complete team in baseball, and we're not complete just yet. Nice little base knock by Polo. Like, again, when we score 4 runs or more, we're like 51-11. Right? When we score 5 runs or more, we got like the best record in baseball. We're 44-4. So it just to think, once we end up getting our farm system guys called up and we make better decisions with this particular roster, if we can end up being 15th in hitting, we could make the World Series, with this top 3 pitching staff. But we're like 30th. So we just have to, we don't need to be top 5 in hitting or top 10, but if we can just be like 15 to 20 in hitting, gain about 10 or 15 spots in a couple years, that could be the difference between us, getting to the ALCS World Series and winning it, or not. And if we ever turn into a top 10 hitting team with this pitching staff, we're going to go all the way. So again, top 3 pitching staff, top 10 hitting team would be really hard to beat. But again, the bullpen definitely needs to be improved. It's the weakest part of our team by far. 100%. I agree. Bottom of the 6th, 5-2 Seattle. Runner at first with 2 outs. Next up is Dylan Moore. Or moving like a guy like Luis Castillo to being a closer. Even though that would be probably a big ego hit, you know what I mean? But again, if you have other guys like Durangelo coming up, and if he can pitch from the left side and the right side, think about how much of an advantage that's going to be. Pitches in the first inning from the left side, pitches the right side in the second inning, left side in the third inning. Like, how do you game plan for that? You fucking don't. So I'm really excited to see what, the future brings for Seattle. Because you're not going to be able to go left-handed pitch, right-handed pitch, but I think you can pitch from the same side per inning. So you can go left, right, or right, left. And how the fuck are you going to stop that? So especially if Durangelo can develop, that could be a monster bullpen guy, or maybe a guy that could be, our 5 guy. A guy like a Brian Wu, where we give him a chance, and then now Brian Wu's our best pitcher on the staff. Big swing and a miss for Demo. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But I've been following the farm a lot, so I know most Mariner fans don't, so I'm always going to be keeping tabs on everyone in single A, high A, double A, triple A. And I'm not going to be watching full games, but I'm going to read up and watch the highlights and listen to the beat writers on what's going on there. Big swing and a miss. Down goes Demo. End of the 6th inning, 5-2 Seattle. It almost feels like once, Durangelo, if he ends up being good, that there'll be like a new rule put in place, to make it more even for the other teams, but I don't know if you're going to go left, right, at an at bat, between batters and whatnot, that might be a little bit too much, but, pitching from one side in one inning and one side in the next, it sounds like, But again, I mean, who knows? I mean, I guess if you're going to go, with one batter, you're going to pitch left if he's a righty, and then the next batter is a righty, and then you're going to go left. That could be like the biggest advantage in baseball if the guy ends up being good. Now, if he ends up stinking, then it's not going to matter. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely excited about what Durangelo is going to bring. All right, baby. End of the 6th inning, 5-2 Mariners. Let's go to the top of the 7th and see who's up next here for Tampa. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We're trying to hit that algorithm, and we want to hit 30 to 50 on every single stream. Next up for the Rays, catcher 0 for 1 with the base on ball, Ben Rortvedt. Batting second, center fielder Jose Siri. And batting third, back at the top of the order, first baseman Yandy Diaz. Astros are good, though, man. It's going to be definitely tough. They started off a lot slower than they normally do. Pitching was really bad for them. All right, we need 5 more likes to get to 30. We want to get to at least 30 before the stream ends. If you're in the room and you haven't smashed the like button, do your boy a favor. We only need 4 more, and then it's all going to be Gucci from there. 4 more to get to 30. Let's go. Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be new rules put into place, but it's not like we're going to be getting a lot of switch pitches in baseball. Like, maybe once out of every, 20 years, you're going to get one. But it's a very rare thing. And obviously, you're going to have a strong side. But I did watch him pitch from the left and the right. And he's equally good on both sides. Maybe left a little bit stronger. But I'm definitely excited to see what that brings for Seattle in the future. I mean, that would be awesome if he ends up being like a monster bullpen guy, like our 8th inning guy, and then Munoz is in the 9th. That would be awesome. Unless he ends up being one of our guys in the starting 5, and I would love that too. Hell yeah, college football in the NFL, baby. Top of the 7th, 5-2 Seattle. 1-1 pitch from both DeRortvet. That one crushed foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And we have a matchup with them late in the year, too. So, big swing and a miss. There we go. Both with a K. Top of the 7th, 5-2 Mariners. Next up is center fielder, 1 for 2, Jose Siri. Big swing and a miss by Siri behind in the count 0-2. 197 average, 17 homers, and 43 ribbies. So it's either a big home run, a big RBI, or a strikeout typically for Siri. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, but I hope the Mariners make it. But realistically, we're not good enough to make it to the World Series this year. And I don't even know if we're good enough to make it to the ALCS. But if we get in, and if the hitting can get a little bit better with our pitching staff, we might be able to upset a team or two. But just being real, if you look at like the Orioles and the Yankees and the Guardians, the Twins and the Royals, and you also got teams like the Red Sox, that are going to be kind of where we are at, record-wise, we just want to get in to see what will happen. And we're nowhere near being like, we're more of like a playoff pretender rather than a playoff contender. But again, anything can happen once you get into the dance in any type of sport, as we know. Sometimes wild card teams go all the way, in sports. Not often, but sometimes. And you never know. Pitch is outside on the corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wow, no hits for the Phillies? No fucking way. Astros got a no-hitter? Who's pitching? It's not Framber Valdez, is it? Seems like whenever Framber is on the mound, that he ends up getting very close to no-hitters, if he doesn't get one himself. That's crazy. Yeah, well, Rojas is an issue, too. We don't have a consistent third baseman. Again, Rojas was good, in the first April and May, batting 300, 350, but, he's gotten better in the last week and a half. But again, consistency is king. And it's hard to find consistent players. I mean, as of like 5 days ago, where there was only 10 players in Major League Baseball batting over 300. That's crazy. Nice pitch by both. Got him. Freezes Diaz. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th, 5-2 Seattle. But again, everyone's going to have a different idea, of baseball, and, the things have been changing, no shifting, obviously with the pitch calm and everything else. So, even for me watching baseball when I was a kid, starting in like 85, and then now it's 2024, things have changed dramatically, not only in MLB, but in the NFL, as well as in the NBA. Like I said, things that were, kind of prominent back then may not be the same now, and that's definitely very true. Let's see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Catcher today, Mitch Garver. Worst player on the team, but hopefully he gets to at least 200 by the year end. Batting in the 9 hole, 2 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs. Maybe we found our magic X factor with Robles at the end of the lineup, Victor Robles. And batting third, 0 for 2 in his first game back, shortstop J.P. Crawford. And it might take a couple games. He might go 0 for 4, 0 for 5 for a couple, but eventually, he'll have a 1 for 4 or a 2 for 4 game sooner than later, and it might end up being on Friday. We'll find out. But again, first game back after a month and a half, 2 months with a broken pinky. No one expected JP to go 3 for 4 and have 2 RBIs and a home run. It's we just want to kind of ease him back in to the starting lineup. So. We stink on the road. We're terrible. Look at the stats. We're 40 and 28 at home. Like 27 and 38 on the road. We're not good on the road, bro. You have to look at the stats, bro. Home, we're good. Road, we stink. We're 67 and 66, and 40 of those wins are at home. Which would mean, if you do the math, right, that means that we only have 27 wins on the road and a shitload of losses. Garver popped out to the shortstop, 1 away. No surprise there. Bad signing with Mitch Garver. Should have kept Tom Murphy from last year. Better backup catcher. Not only is he a backup defensive catcher, Tom Murphy, but also a better hitter. Next up, right fielder, Victor Robles. Damn, 10-0? Is it still a no-hitter? Jesus Christ. We're definitely not getting any help from Philadelphia today. My God. There's the pop-up to Garv to the shortstop. 1 away. We're at 35, 65 to go. Still a no-hitter. Wow. Next up, the guy that brings all the energy and the swag to the team, Victor Robles. One of the best pickups the Mariners have had in a long, long time. Obviously, I love, Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner and JT Chargois and Jimmy Garcia there at the trade deadline. But, there was a point where Victor Robles was putting up stats, a few weeks back, where he was playing as of a top 10 player in baseball, if you were looking at the statistics. And things have kind of, got a little bit cooled off, since that, period of time. But it shows you, when he's on, he can definitely really help this team out. And he sets the tone for us at the top of the order when he leads off. And then obviously here in the 9 hole, with him and JP in the lineup, I would have liked maybe Victor to be at the 1 and JP to be at the 9, but JP normally is a leadoff hitter. But again, if JP keeps struggling, we may have to move him to the 9 and swap with Robles. We want to make sure the top of the order, gets plenty of at-bats. Because if you're in the 9, you might only get 3 or 4 opportunities. But if you're at the 1, you're going to get 4 or 5. So who's the better hitter, Victor Robles or JP Crawford? Obviously, it's Victor Robles. So we'll monitor that. But today it didn't burn us by putting Robles at the 9. He definitely has made the most of his opportunity in the 9 hole. And it works out good when we go 9-1-2, right? Robles in the 9, JP at the 1, Julio at the 2, even though I think Julio is better off around the 4 or 5 hole. But it worked out today with him hitting a home run as well as Julio. Popped up. Nice catch into right field. 2 away. 17 hits from the Astros. My God. Let's see if JP can get his first hit back. Shortstop, 0 for 2 with a run and a base on ball. J.P. Crawford. Let's go, JP. Mauricio Dubon. Pitch in there for a strike, 0-1 count. Four more likes to 30. If we're not going to be able to hit 40 or 50, since we're in the bottom of the 7th, we got to at least get to 30, 35. 3 more to go to hit 30. Again, if you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do. And the faster that we can get to that number, then I don't have to fucking say it anymore. That's the best part. I don't want to have to bring it up, but I got to be able to hold everybody accountable and the newbies that are in the room. If we can get to that number, and again, once we hit that number early, then we don't got to talk about it anymore. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But we're just easing JP back into the lineup. I wouldn't expect him to get a hit today. 1-2 pitch. Pitch outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. We're going to have a heat wave for 4 days of 90 to 100 starting tomorrow. And Paisley still got the cone on from her bug bite. Big swing and a miss. Got him. Nice punch out there from Alexander. So I'm hoping, by maybe Thursday or Friday, the cone will be off. So that way that she can sleep a little bit easier and we can go on longer walks and kind of get back to our regular routine. Things have been a little off since, I've had to kind of take care of her with the cone, but we're getting on that back stretch. Only another day or 2 and we should be good to go. All right, we got Colin Snyder coming in for Austin Voth here in the top of the 8th. Let's see who's up next here for the Rays. And then obviously the Mariners have the day off tomorrow, so we're going to be doing our NWSF Fantasy Football Draft. I think this is our, 8th year doing it. Very excited about that, and I'll live stream it. And obviously we'll have a lot of the people that are in it will be watching the live stream and commenting while we do the draft. It'll be at 6 p.m. Pacific, probably last about 2 hours, 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then on Friday, we'll be back doing the Mariners. All right, there we go. Now we're 1 away from 30. We're at 29. Thank you to the 3 of you that have smashed that like button. Now we're just 1 away from hitting 30, which I know we'll be able to do. And then starting Friday, we're going to be playing the Angels, and we're going to be on Apple TV Plus on Friday. And I get a free Apple TV Plus subscription as well as Netflix through my phone provider. And normally I'm not too big on Apple TV Plus, but what I did notice after going through Hulu and Netflix and Disney Plus and Prime, I was kind of like, okay, I need something new to watch. I watched Resident Alien, hilarious, great show. One of the writers from Family Guy actually writes that show. And that's a good one for sci-fi. And then I watched Twisted Metal, and I watched that. Samoa Joe and Sweet Tooth, and it actually is pretty good. Anthony Mackie is in it. The chick from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is in it. And I thought they did a pretty good job. And I'm still going to be, looking for new things. But they have a show called Silo, and there's a bunch of sci-fi stuff on Apple TV Plus. And again, I wouldn't expect anyone to go out of their way to subscribe to Apple TV Plus unless you get it free or you just want to check it out. And it doesn't have like a lot compared to the other streaming platforms. But as far as sci-fi, if you like sci-fi, there's some pretty good sci-fi shows that are on there. And obviously there's a few other shows on there too, that aren't sci-fi that are pretty good. And I'll explore those as I explore the app. Little slow road dribbler, the JP Crawford, one away. Well, someone had to start for the Steelers, right? More than likely, they're going to finish in last place in the AFC North. Justin Fields, has some ability with his legs, but the accuracy with his arm is a big question mark. Russell Wilson used to be good, but in the last couple of years, you can tell that he's way past his prime. And they'll start Russell Wilson for, maybe 4 weeks. And if they go 1-3, then Fields will be the starter for the rest of the year. So it's pretty much they're just waiting for Russell to fuck up, and then they'll throw Fields in instead of starting Fields and then putting in Russ later. They're going to be going with the older vet. But again, if I was a Steeler fan, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, barf. That's not good. And again, we know that Mike Tomlin is one of the best coaches, typically, has an above 500 record almost in every year that he's coached. But this potentially could be their worst team of his career. So I would assume if you get anything out of Deshaun Watson and Chubb can be, someone after the first month coming back. We'll see what happens with their offense. Might be a question mark, but we know Cleveland's defense will be good. We assume the Ravens and Bengals will be good at the top of the division, but, I don't got a whole lot of faith in Russell Wilson at this point in his career or Justin Fields. I don't think it really matters who's in there. They both stink, Maybe Fields has a little bit more upside because he might be able to give you like 1 touchdown passing and maybe 1 with his legs, or maybe 2 and 2 when he gets a chance to play. But, he's not accurate. And, that'll be a killer for you as a quarterback in the NFL. And it also shows you that Ben Roethlisbergers don't grow on trees. You might have been able to get away with Neil O'Donnell against the Cowboys back in '95, but Big Bens are rare. And now the Steelers are finally realizing that we might not ever have another Big Ben or Terry Bradshaw ever again. So it may be a long time before we see that. So top of the 8th, 5-2 Seattle. I mean, I treat every team as if they were my own. So, when I break it down, it's like I'm not trying to be a hater. I just, I'm just being truthful. I feel a lot of people think the same way as I, that, we have no faith in Russ or Fields on that team. And they don't have a good offensive line either. So that's a recipe for disaster. And you got Najee and Jalen Warren, that don't really run effectively. The best part about the Steelers is their defense, right? TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick. So you got like a couple guys, on the defense. But other than that, that's about it. Not a whole lot to cheer for if you're a Pittsburgh fan. I think that's a true statement. So, Adam, are you a Steeler fan? Let's go to the bottom of the 8, 5-2 Mariners. But the best I could see Pittsburgh doing is 3rd place. But that would mean there's like season-ending injuries to like Joe Burrow or something happens with Cleveland and whatnot. But you never know. There's going to be a lot of worst to first or third to first. But, if you look at that roster, not very good. I wouldn't want to be a Steeler fan at this point. Next up for the Mariners, 2 for 3 with a run, 2 RBIs, and a 2-run blast, Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, DHing for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And batting third, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Let's go Mariners. But we also have to remember, too, if they didn't have Russell Wilson back then, you wouldn't have won a Super Bowl. Again, you have to have everything. A quarterback on a rookie deal. Marshawn Lynch is there. Legion of Boom is there. Pete Carroll is there. You had the magic formula. You didn't have to pay a lot for your quarterback. You got him on the rookie deal, and that's one of the pieces that they needed. And remember, Russ back then with the Seahawks was a top 3 quarterback for a few years, but as of late, he's almost unwatchable. So I think that's the truth. It's a big fall from grace from being a top 3 quarterback now to being maybe one of the bottom 3, not very good. So I'm glad he's not on my fucking roster. Yeah, but it only works if you got a good offensive line. And, again, Fields can get you with his legs and make some plays like he did for the Bears. But what about the accuracy, the touchdown to interception ratio, the completion percentage, the intelligence? Again, if I was the Steelers, probably going with Fields right out the bat would have been better. But they're almost, just waiting for Russell to fuck up, and he will. And again, he'll get benched at some point in the season, probably within the first 4 or 5 games, and then Fields will be the starter for the rest of the year. Line drive by Julio. Nice catch by Yendy Diaz. 1 away. Oh, Phillies broke up the no-no. And again, for Justin Fields to pan out, he would have to be on a team like the San Francisco 49ers. That's the only way you're going to pan out. You got a great coach and a great play caller. You got a great O-line. You got great running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. And you got a great defense behind you. That might be a situation where Fields could succeed more than he has up to this point. But if you're on a dog shit team with a dog shit O-line and a dog shit offense, you really think that that's going to be the difference? Fuck no. He might be better than Russ, but that's not really saying a whole lot. It's one of the worst quarterback rooms in football. Terrible. Popped up on an 0-1 pitch. Low is there. 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, left fielder, 2 for 3 with a run. Left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. Pitch inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes to Randy Arozarena. Oh, Phillies, 2 hits. Bottom of the 8th, 5-2 Seattle. Nobody on, 2 outs. 1-0 pitch from Alexander to Arozarena. Pitches outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Two-one pitch from Alexander Arozarena. Pitches outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Come on, Randy. 3-1 pitch. Uh-oh. He got all of that one. Back, back, back. See ya! Hell yeah! Let's go. Randy Arozarena. Goodbye. 6-2 Mariners. Hell yeah. We just won this game. Way to bring that electricity. Exit velo 106. 430 feet. That's my boy. Nice job, Randy. Especially doing it against his former team. Trident's up, baby. Hell yeah. Welcome to fucking Randy land. 18 homers this season. Let's go. They got a pretty dope Randy Land t-shirt that's made not by the Seattle Mariners, but it's just like by, a private company. and it's like the Disneyland, but it has Randyland with like the flags with the Mariner blue. Pretty cool. It's definitely a shirt that I would wear or buy, but obviously you have to go to a particular website to buy it. But I did see it come up on my social media feed about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. I like that. Very creative. Hell yeah, 6-2, baby. Welcome to Randyland, baby. Hell yeah. All right, let's go to the top of the ninth and then end the Tampa Bay's hopes and dreams here. Let's see who's up next for Tampa. And we needed this. I wish we were able to win yesterday, so that we could get a sweep. But again, 2 out of 3, you just never know when you're going to be able to, get those wins. And 10 Ks, right, from Bryce Miller. We won that game. 10 Ks by Logan Gilbert, but the bats didn't show up. We lost with that one, right? Even though we felt like we could have won that game yesterday, but it feels good to end on a very good high note, right? And we got a day off, and then we play the Angels. And again, we know the Angels aren't really a good team, but again, they're in the division. And anyone knows in the NFL, college football, right, NBA, MLB, when you play teams in the division, sometimes records go out the window, regardless if you're at home or on the road, and they usually will give you their best effort, and they're trying to, pretty much spoil our season. So, in essence, we could potentially sweep a team like the Angels, but we probably won't, but if we can end up winning 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, however many games the series is, that's what we want to shoot for. We don't want to go 1 for 3 or 1 for 4, because if that happens, playoff chances, boom, out of the window. So, and I feel that our team is much better. They don't have Mike Trout. They don't got Shohei Ohtani anymore. What's the excuse? We've got to get it done. And again, a nice day off, and let's get this game finished up. And we got our boy Andres Munoz on the mound to go 1, 2, 3 and end this game. Let's go. Good team effort today. That's our boy right there. Let's go. Oh, you did? Nice. The animation is slightly different than the X-Men series from the 90s, which I really did enjoy. It was my favorite cartoon in the 90s besides Batman, the animated series. And obviously, I'm a big G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles guy. Hell, I watch Ninja Turtles pretty much every day, before I go to sleep. Top of the ninth, 6-2 Mariners, 1-1 count from Munoz to Lowe. But yeah, I mean, and they're going to keep continuing on the X-Men series, and hopefully they end up doing a good job with that. Big swing and a miss by Josh Lowe, 1 for 3 with a solo home run in the second, 1-2 count from Munoz to Lowe. Big swing and a miss, got him. Way to bring that electricity, baby. Nice job, Andres Munoz. 1 away. There we go. Mariner Moose loves it. Nice job, Andres. Bring that electricity. Next up, Dylan Carlson. First pitch outside for a strike. 0-1 count. No, the game's over. 6-2, bro. We're in the top of the ninth. There's 0% chance that the Tampa Bay Rays come back. 0. Now, if the game was 3-2, definitely a chance, but not when we're up 4. With the gambit, yeah. No, I hear you. One-two pitch. Incoming to Dylan Carlson. Top of the ninth, 6-2 Mariners. Nobody on, 1 out. 1-2 pitch from Munoz to Carlson. Well, yeah, of course. It's the bobblehead night for both of them. Pitches outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, I know when we do Bark at the Park in Seattle, we win, 9 times out of 10 when we do that promotion. I'm not sure if they're allowing dogs in Dodger Stadium today, but I know that bobblehead is going to be a hot commodity. Big swing and a miss. Got him. There we go. See you later. Another punch out by Andres Munoz. Let's go, baby. Way to finish this series on a strong note. Nice job, Munoz. And potentially the last batter, the former Seattle Mariner, it's only fitting, shortstop today, Jose Caballero. First pitch outside, 1-0 count. And Caballero popped out to second, and there it is. Let's go, baby. Great performance by the Mariners from top to bottom. Good shit. There we go. Final score, Seattle Mariners 6, Tampa Bay Rays 2. Let's go. Easy pop out there, Jose Caballero. We won the first two series with Dan Wilson. Goodbye, Scott Service. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win! Mariners win! Mariners win! Let's go! Hell yeah! Great team win. Starting pitching, bullpen, the hitters came alive today. Victor Robles and Julio homered, 6 runs, 9 hits. And again, when we get over 5 runs, our record now is 45-4. We got one of the best records in baseball when we actually can fucking hit. We are a dangerous team. Nice job, Munoz. Nice job, Victor Robles. Nice job, Julio Rodriguez. And great to have JP back as well. Awesome. Good stuff, baby. Let's go. All right, well, I got to go take Paisley for a little bit of a walk and eat some lunch. I love you guys very, very much. And for the people that are in the room that are a part of the Fantasy Football League, again, you'll find out your order in the league, in the draft, 1 hour before. So at 5 p.m. Pacific. Draft is 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to the draft. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Final score, Seattle Mariners 6, Tampa Bay Rays 2. And I got one question for you. When you know talk sports like us, your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Go Mariners.